already living through a frightening time before the pandemic hit. A time of melting glaciers and burning forests. A time when more and more wealth is concentrated in the hands of a few, while daily survival is becoming a greater and greater struggle. A time when governments and corporations are gathering a staggering amount of information about each of us, while withholding alarming amounts of information about the risks we face. A time when goods and capital move across borders at lightning speed, while people crossing borders in a struggle to survive face horrendous persecution. The ancient Greek word apocalypse means revelation. In that sense, the pandemic we face is truly an apocalyptic event, one that reveals what has been hidden. In a time when the boundaries of our remaining wildernesses are being breached, a virus spreads from wild animals being sold in rural marketplaces into the bodies of people living under an authoritarian regime whose resistance to illness has been worn down by the constant stress of survival. The origin is a microcosmic version of what comes next, as global markets facilitate the spread of the disease across the world, from one vulnerable population to the next. Its spread is detected early, but public health agencies in the United States withhold information about the scale of the threat in order to avoid derailing the economy and the president's chances of re-election. It is a disease that settles into the lungs, the organ associated with grief in the traditional medicine of the country the virus originated in, at a time when, consciously or not, we are all feeling the grief of a world in peril. And it is a febrile disease, emerging at a time when the planet's own systems of thermoregulation are breaking down. Just as we are a society full of people whose immune responses are compromised by stress, we in the United States are living in a country where our healthcare system has been stretched beyond its limits and may begin to break down further under the stress of a pandemic. We desperately need to transform and rebuild that system. That matters for the next pandemic to come. We are out of time to rebuild the healthcare system for this one. I deeply believe that this pandemic provides us with the opportunity to find the collective medicine to address the underlying crises that gave rise to it. And first, we need to live through it. We offer you the following invitations for your consideration. Caution means slowing down, paying attention to everything you do, and making choices based on realistic assessment of the risks you face. If you are cautious, when you begin to get scared or overwhelmed, you can remind yourself that you are taking care of yourself and doing the best you can. Wash your hands slowly and mindfully. Let it be the ritual that it is. Let yourself feel the hot water on your hands, and let that feeling bring you more fully into your body. Many of us have begun to recite the litany against fear Frank Herber's Dune while we wash our hands. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. People around the world have always burned aromatic plants, hung them from the rafters, bathed in them, brewed them into teas, and eaten them in abundance to ward off both spiritual and physical contagions and come into calm presence. I highly recommend you do the same. Nourish yourselves and each other with soups and broths, especially bone broths and mushroom soups with lots of warming spices. Social distancing is necessary to stop the spread of the disease, and self-quarantine is a wise measure. Rather than approaching these practices as ways of severing connection, take the opportunity they provide to weave other kinds of connection. Go outside every day to visit a tree near your home and appreciate its beauty. Greet the sun and the moon each day. Put out food offerings for your ancestors and the spirits of the land. Sing to any people, animals, or plants you live with. Call people you love and read stories to each other. Words written by Seán Pádraig O'Donoghue. Read by Eve Starr. Harp, played by Erika Jean. Irish flute, keys, production, and the accompanying instruments played by Connell Sanderson. We all wish you well.